Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the garden and happy coffee, of course. Today is the 21st of October and I have tons of things that I need to get done in the garden. It is currently around 53 degrees. It did not freeze last night, but we had 4 consecutive nights where it did freeze. So I'm gonna take that as a sign to just go ahead and get rid of the summer garden. Yes, it's a sad day. No, I don't like cutting down peppers or anything, but it does need to be done because when you're a small space gardener like me, you need the space. I don't have anywhere to plant anything right now because all of my summer plants are still in the garden. In the garden, first frost basically changes everything. So all the peppers, the basil, the tomatillo plant, the zinnias, everything that likes the warm weather is screaming at me. And I'd rather just not hear the screaming. So I think we're just going to remove it. We have a lot to do today. We're going to have to pick up all the mulch, remove all the plants, transfer a bunch of soil around, add compost, transplant things, you name it. We've got to do it today. So it is sad, but it is necessary that I think the first thing we're going to do this morning is chop all of that down. Almost all of it. Very few plants are going to be able to stay and live through the winter here. We have fairly harsh winters, not nearly as harsh as some places in the US, but we tend to err on the side of zone 6B in the winter here in southern Missouri. We usually have a spell of about a month where the temperatures barely get above 30 degrees. So all the summer plants just, they can't handle that. I posted a video, a short not that long ago, talking about how I'm going to cut down my peppers soon because they're going to die in the frost anyway. And somebody was like, peppers are perennials. And I was like, yeah, they can be, but not where I live unless I'm going to put in a lot of effort to protect them from the frost. And that's a lot more effort than I'm willing to put in to protect something that I can just replant in 3 months. So we might be doing a little bit of harvesting considering we're cutting all that down. If there's anything worth keeping, I'll go ahead and cut it off. I brought a basket out here to keep it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started destroying the garden. Okay guys, here we are at this first pepper plant. There are quite a few tiny little peppers on it, but I don't think it'd be fun to break them down, and then I don't think I'd be able to use them in time for them to not rot on my counter, and they're already really squishy, so I don't think I want those. I'm just gonna chop this down. But first frost. First of all, what is it? Okay, I'm sure if you guys watch a lot of gardening content, then you know that people often talk about things and forget that a lot of the people watching probably don't know what that means, and I am guilty of that also. So let me just explain. First frost is just the term that we use for the first time that the temperatures in your area get cold enough to actually freeze the dew. So it doesn't have to be like down into the 20s or anything. In fact, it doesn't even have to be frosty for long. The 4 nights in a row that I got frosts, it was probably less than 2 hours of it being 32 degrees or below, but all of the times. So first frost is just the literal first time that it gets cold enough to freeze at all. So for me, here in southern Missouri, zone 6B/7A, depending on how it feels, my first frost on average, now this is an average, and they only tell you averages, so it could change, could be earlier, could be later, but my average first frost is October 16th, and our actual first frost was October 14th or 15th, I think. That was a pretty good looking pepper plant. Sad to kill it. So now that you know what first frost is, just literally the first frost of your cold season, what does that do to your plants? Why does it change everything? So basically, some plants can handle frost better than others. So plants like these peppers, the basil, a lot of the flowers that I grow, when they freeze, the moisture in their plant cells literally freezes. And the same way as when you make ice cubes, you put water in there, and when it freezes, it expands a little bit. But if something freezes and expands within just the thinness of a leaf, for example, the cell walls can't expand like the water can. So what happens is it freezes, and then as it's frozen, they don't look dead. But then once they thaw out and there's no more ice basically holding the structure of the plant together, they just turn to mush. So if I leave these peppers for a couple more weeks, I might get a handful of peppers here and there. But then I'm gonna have to come out into the garden and remove a bunch of mush. And I'll also have to wait to plant anything else until that mush is gone. So I'd rather just go ahead and remove it, not have to worry about mush, and be able to get other things planted. There were little cilantro babies in here, but I have so much cilantro planted that I'd rather just use that than try and save these little guys. One last look at this little beauty. Gonna miss ya. Clean up this thyme a little bit. It's a little unruly. Let's keep going. Another thing that comes along with first frost is the sad knowledge that the sun is lessening by day, meaning we have less hours of actual sunlight by minutes per day. Less sun means things are gonna grow a lot slower. Oh my gosh. This was that giant sunflower that I grew. Look at that taproot. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. That's cool though. Go ahead and remove basil too. I'm gonna go ahead and take this parsley. I'll plant some new parsley. Oh my goodness! Those roots are crazy too! What the heck? This plant's been growing for like 3 years though, so this one makes sense. Alright, we're gonna trim up this oregano. Left this parsley because I wasn't sure, but I took the other one out, so might as well. Nice. Parsley roots are weird. Hollow. That's pretty strange. I'm leaving those snapdragons because they're frost hardy, so I'm not even going to touch them. These serranos are some of the ones I am going to take the peppers off of. Do you guys ever watch people like harvesting and you see one pepper or one flower or something that you're like, get that one, oh my gosh, and then they never pick it? Oh, that's upsetting. That is very unsatisfying. So I'm going to try and get all of these so you guys don't hate me. Like that. What if I left that one and you guys saw it? Man, it's only in the 50s, but jeez is the sun warm. I'm gonna have to be in just a dress soon. Okie dokie, I have put on some little biking shorts instead of those pants because I was getting hot. Alright. This is not a frost hardy flower, so it is going. Pick a couple of serranos. These are habanadas. I guess I could take those. Alright, it's going pretty quick now. Those are chives, I'm going to leave them. That thyme is already nicely pruned. I'm not going to touch it. This one. I really like that emerald everleaf basil. It did not flower nearly as quickly as the Genevese. Alright, these green beans. We gotta go. I wasn't even sure if these green beans were going to produce anything, but man did they have time. Man did I eat a good few dinners of green beans off of just these 12 plants. So green beans are nitrogen fixers. Meaning their roots produce little nitrogen nodules and add nitrogen back into the soil. So these ones will just be staying exactly like that. I might take some soil off and add some compost though. Not a lot left to take out. I think just this tomatillo plant. Don't mind my giant brush pile back there. We're just clearing the yard. Alright guys. It's just going to be one big snip for this guy. Look at all the flowers that were on there. So sad I couldn't get tomatillos. Also, I think tomatillo flowers are so pretty. Look at that. So pretty. I keep saying that this plant is really big, but I don't feel like the camera really picks up the scope of it. So here's me holding the stalk. I could use this as an umbrella. Like, yeah, it got pretty big. Okay, we have cut down everything we need to cut down. It's time to clean up all these containers. I just went down this line and removed a bunch of mulch from all but one of these containers. My phone started to overheat, so I stopped recording. From all these containers, there's no mulch, no mulch, no mulch. Just on this last one, I left it so I could show you guys. I just have this little hand rake And I come around the edges. And then I've been using the rake in this hand like so, and my other hand against the rake like so to pick it up, but obviously I'm using my hand to record, so we're just picking up the mulch from the containers and putting it into buckets. Some of this is reusable, and some of it is broken down enough that it will be going into the compost bin. But I have a lot of new mulch, so that's not a problem at all. So it took this many buckets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buckets to get all the mulch off of these containers. I'm leaving the mulch on these containers because these beds are already prepped for garlic. All I have to do is take the mulch off and plant the garlic when I'm ready. So those will be staying how they are. Okay guys, now we're basically going to be playing musical soil. So see how low this container is on soil versus how high that one is. So I'm going to take a shovel and take soil out of that one and put it in this one, maybe some out of this one and put it in that one, and just try to make all of them the same kind of level of soil. Also, I found a bunch more tags, so I'm going to go around and pick those up. Just goes to show how many plants I had in the summer garden, hey? My mom must have done this, because I think this is a piece of an elderberry tree. And it's just stuck here in the soil. I told her you could propagate them. So she brought me a huge branch, but I did not plant this. I just almost pulled it out because I was like, what the heck? But you know what? Screw it. I'll leave it there. Whatever. So this is where I've been putting all my little tags. All of these need to go inside and have a vinegar and baking soda wash. Okay, a couple more things. We're gonna pull these decorations out for now. Just so they're not in my way. This last bucket's gonna wait because there's no holes in the bottom of it yet, and my love bug is not here, and he has his drill with him, so I have to wait until he gets home with the drill for me to put holes in that. These little bags are biodegradable, so I'm not gonna bother taking them out of there. They can just be at the bottoms of the containers and turn into soil eventually. Found another tag. Of course. Oh, and another one. Those ones are pretty good and even. These two are fine. I've taken some out of that white container already. But we're just gonna keep going. That's crazy. Come on now. Tag. This one was just still pretty intact, so I'm just gonna take that one out. This one too. I hate these. I think they are so disgusting. They make me want to die. Ugh. There was 2 of them just in that one little cloth container. Gross. Why? Why? I hope the birds eat those. I don't know what was in this container that they liked so much, but there's a ton of them in here. Brought a bucket over because my containers are getting... Whoa. All my containers are getting full enough that I'm just going to have some extra soil, so I'm going to put it in this big bucket. Something in that container that they like too. Okay, hi, hello. I went inside, had some lunch, took a little sit-down break, walked my dogs. Now I'm back out in the garden. All of the mulch is off, and all of the containers have an even amount of the used old soil in them. Actually, there's this one right here. I actually need to flip over and put some soil in, but oh, no, I can't because I don't have a drill with me, and that doesn't have holes in it. So yeah, all of the soil that I need to move has been moved, and now I need to empty that rolling bucket of old soil so that I can use it to transport compost. So let's empty that out and get to shoveling compost. Good morning, everybody. It is a chilly start out in the garden today. I think it's about 45 degrees out here right now. But I have 30 minutes before I go to work. Well, I have 30 minutes extra before I need to get ready to go to work. And I have lots of plants that need to be put into the containers. I did finish putting the compost on top of them and mixing them up together just a little bit so that the compost wasn't too hot for anything. But I haven't put any plants in the ground yet at all. I did have a friend come over, and she helped me repot almost every single inside plant, like house plant that I have. My one aloe vera turned into 16 aloe vera plants, and I let her take 5 of them home. So now I have 11, way more than necessary, but now all my house plants are doing much better. I'm just going to plant a few broccolis today with you this morning, just mostly to end the video and get something in the ground and give myself a nice good 30 minutes in the garden this morning because I need it. And then I will go make my coffee. I don't have coffee yet. But let's go ahead and get some broccoli planted. So what I'm gonna do is stagger the plants. So I'll put a broccoli in this container, and then in that one, and in that one, and in that one, so that they're not all bunched together, because bugs tend to destroy my plants when I just plant them all together. If I put all my tomatoes in one spot, the hornworm likes to eat them. If I put all my broccolis in one spot, the cabbage moths like to eat them. So I'm just going to try and space them out just a little bit. This broccoli is an F1 hybrid from Johnny's Selected Seeds. They're a little bit root bound, but that's okay. I'll rough them up a little bit and they'll bounce back. Broccoli is called Bellstar broccoli. I watch a girl named Bree Ellis who lives she lives in Kansas, near Kansas City, and her weather patterns tend to be very similar to mine, and she uses this broccoli. It heads up a little faster and has a bit more tolerance to the heat. She seems to really like it, and none of the broccoli I've ever grown has actually like headed up and given me much. So I decided to use her recommendation. So what an F1 hybrid is it's just plants that we have bred together for certain traits, and an F1 hybrid is the first hybridization of the seeds that have been growing. So that means I can't get seed out of this broccoli, or I can get seed out of this broccoli. It might not, the seed might not grow a broccoli plant that is true to characteristics because they're still hybrids. So they're not, it's not a 100% guarantee that the genetic traits will pass on until it becomes an heirloom, when it's passed down from generation to generation, the same variety, doing the same thing. This one broccoli grew over into a container where the one seed didn't germinate and now has 2 root balls. So I'm honestly going to stick both of these in the hole, just like that. Oh, I didn't really skip one right there, did I? Oh well. Okay, everybody, the broccolis have been planted, and I need coffee. So I'm gonna go inside, make coffee, get ready for work, and on my way to work, I will bring some watering cans of water out here and water in those broccolis because the soil is pretty dry in my containers. I'm pretty sure this video is going to be a long one, so if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. If you clicked on the video at all, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here. I didn't get a lot of planting done, but I started, and that'll make me want to finish it. This week is going to be a very big week in the garden, planting garlic, planting out everything else, planting seeds, covering everything with mulch, getting it ready to survive the winter. So, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.